I invite you to join me in accepting this invitation to return to the land of your soul. So with eyes open, eyes closed, whatever is comfortable for you, let us breathe together, breathing in this atmosphere of love and peace right here in this very room. And as we exhale, exhale also that love and peace, because that is all there is. There is only love at the center and circumference of all that is. And so this is a time when we let go and release anything that does not look like that, anything that has entered into our minds or entered into our hearts that is somehow less than loving, because love is the foundation. Love is all there is. Love is the only power. And so let us take that thought into the quiet. And if there are any thoughts about the past, something that it took to get here, if there's any thoughts about the future, just let them go and continue to be in the now moment where there is only love. And now imagine this love that we have been breathing in, this love that we have welcomed into our hearts and minds. Imagine that spreading out from each and every heart in this room, beyond this room. You may notice that it cannot be contained by these walls. It cannot be contained by the borders of the cities or the countries. Just imagine this love spreading out, surrounding this earth. See it filtering into each home where it is met by that same love. There is no variation in language in love. It is only love. One power, one essence, one. And as we know the truth that it is absolutely surrounding this planet, and it cannot be contained by our atmosphere, it goes beyond that. It is all that is, everywhere present, all of the time, in every person, every place, every situation, in this now moment, so very present. And so we take this feeling of love out into our world today, recognizing it where it's always been, in the beauty, in the wisdom, in the joy, in the laughter. We recognize it and call it good and very good. And so we simply let that be, and so it is. And when you're ready, come back into this room, into this space, into this celebration. And surrounded by that love in celebration this morning, we have the wonderful blessing of celebrating with someone who has been here many times before and who, by the way, will be speaking with us, sharing with us at the upcoming retreat in November. And I am so pleased and honored to be able to introduce someone who is a blessing to us all and who brings with him that wisdom beyond knowing. Please help me welcome Hal Robinson.
Yeah, that's quite an introduction. First, to you music people, Wupi Latanka, Ostelo. Thank you. Big thank you. Wupi Latanka, biggest thank you. Buffalo is Tetanka. Tanka is the biggest. Ostelo, you all do a good thing. Pidama, thank you. Hauma Takapi, greetings relatives. Apechu Washte, it's a good day. Apechu Duda, it's a red day, a day in spirit. We have the idea that it's up to us to make every day a day in spirit. So we're going to talk a little bit today about what was taught to me by an older sister. Her name's Germaine Sittingcrow. She crossed over October 12th, 2 years ago. She was my teacher for the last 15 years of her life. She said she had to wait till I was over 50 because I was too stupid. Up to about 50. And I used to think that was personal, but my understanding now is that Navajo people say that until 50 you're a child. After 50 you kind of realize something's going on here. If you survive that long. So, survived. A couple things happened this morning. One of them was a poem about eagles. So for a lot of the nations, the eagle is a symbol. For the Iroquois, it's peace. The eagle's a lookout. He flies the highest. For the Lakota, Dakota, Nakota, eagle is the highest level of spiritual awareness. And the teacher that taught me that said to me, be careful. Because I was pretty dumb. My response was, careful of what? I want to learn to fly like the eagle. He said, well, that's good. Moshte. He said, there's eagles and there's turkeys. And Creator made many more turkeys than he made eagles. And Creator knows what Creator's doing. You don't. So true. So if we drove across Texas, we could see maybe 1,000 turkeys. That would be no big deal. If we saw one eagle, that'd be a big deal. So that may be the proportion. So he was talking about people, that there are many turkeys and many eagles. So before you made the mistake that I made, that he saw, he said, let me tell you about turkeys and eagles. And it's okay. Because a lot of the medicine is teaching. The way Sister taught me was teaching stories, because nothing was written. Teaching stories. So this is a teaching story. So turkeys live close to the ground. They don't fly high at all. They're running through turkey poop all the time. They need a lot of them to feel safe. They feel safe in a group. Their view of the world is very low. And they have a lot of fear. They're in the world of predators and lunch, what we call lunch. They have eyes on the side of the head. Predators, like me and you, have eyes face forward. We have canine teeth. We have large adrenals. We're predators. That's our body. He said the eagles, they have eyes that face forward. They're a predator. They fly the highest. They're willing to fly alone. They see so completely that they see the mouse at 4,000 feet below. At the same time, they see the curvature of the earth. Both, the smallest and the largest view. That's a metaphor for spiritual awareness, of course. And so maybe you don't have to repeat my mistakes. The teacher said to me, Creator loves turkeys and eagles equally. How about you? So, oh no, man. I'm an eagle man. I ain't into turkeys. So that's what I thought about you. So, equal. Creator loves turkeys and eagles equally. They have a place, and we don't know what that is. So maybe it's our ego that wants to talk about that. So, another thing happened this morning. Thank you for that poem. The poem kicked off some awarenesses, and part of what Sister taught all the time is spirit is involved in everything. There's nothing separate from spirit. That's an oxymoron. Like holy war. Like you can't have a holy war. Like honest politician. Come on. So, teacher, Sister Danke, said to look for spirit in everything. Everything all the time. Guided by spirit. Spirit's in charge. So, on the way here, there's some thought about what to talk about, and nothing ever comes up. So, that's been happening for years. So it's nice, the eagle poem. The other thing that happened is somebody asked me this morning, with a great deal of suffering in their heart, said, I'm in a situation that's crazy. It's not logical. It doesn't make sense. It's not left brain. It's not 1 and 1 is 2. And I hurt when I'm in this situation. And clearly, I can't change it. So, I can't change it. It's crazy. People around me agree it's crazy. Can't change it. And I'm hurting. Tell me how to let go. So, it's possible to share with you what was taught to me. That the first part is to decide, I'm tired of suffering. I don't want to suffer anymore. I especially don't want to suffer if that person over there is crazy. That's a little bit crazy. I suffer because you're crazy. That ties me to them. If I were a psychologist, and I'm not, I would call that codependent. My happiness is dependent on how you behave. That's crazy. That's the opposite of the warrior's way. That's the opposite. And that's what Sister was teaching all the time. How to act like a warrior. How to not want to change the world. To act like spirit's in charge all the time. To not say that because it's really cool to say that and we sound real enlightened and real new agey. But to live it like spirit's in charge. Like walking up the walk thinking about, gosh, it'd be good to think about what to talk about today. And somebody asked me that question and then you do the thing on eagles. So the answer to the gentleman's question was this. What's been taught to me is, if I'm ready to quit suffering, no matter how the world is, if I'm tired of suffering, if I'm willing to make that statement and follow through, I must unhook my energy from somebody else's behavior. Now the metaphor is to unhook, to take out the hook, that I'm not attached to their behavior. And there is a way to do that. Because spirit involves 4 levels, 4 sacred directions. The first is physical. The second is emotional. The third is mental. And the fourth is spiritual. So this gentleman talked to me about the first level. I hurt physically. My chest hurts. When they're crazy and I see that, I hurt. The second level is emotional. I'm sad. I don't feel good. I'm sad. The third level is, this is crazy. I'm confused. This is crazy. And the fourth level is, this is spiritual. If for no other reason, because it covers the first 3 levels. Physical, emotional, and mental. In the place, my daily activities are with a partner who's a physician. We have a clinic in Kerrville. It's a holistic medical clinic. We understand that when I have my happiness attached to something outside of me, my serotonin goes down. And my blood pressure goes up. And my cortisol goes up. That's a stress hormone. So physically, it's not good for me to be attached. And we think that's a spiritual message too, that those two are together. They're always in harmony, the spiritual and the physical. So one of the ways to look for a spiritual lesson is, am I suffering physically, emotionally, and mentally? Then I'm in the middle of the spiritual lesson. So actually, because if the gentleman could have figured it out, he would have. It's not a left brain issue. It's not 1 and 1 is 2. It's a right brain issue. Intuition, wisdom, female side, dreaming. All you men got that? Female side is where wisdom is. Duh. Wake up. So anyway, there is a way to do it, and it's physical. Every time I think about this person that I react to, I drop my shoulders, because my first response is to lift my shoulders. War. First response. Automatic. So I drop my shoulders. I relax around my heart, because that's where I'm hurting. And I breathe and let it go. And every time I think of that person or that situation, I drop my shoulders and I relax around my heart and I breathe and I let it go. And I might do that 50 times in a day. My goodness, I might do that 50 times in a morning. And I can do that with my history. I can make a list of my history, of every place I see somebody's face and I react. In in the way I was taught. Sorcery. That's called recapitulation. To look at my history and to take back my energy that's tied up in my history. Recapitulation. It's a word not often used. It's a process. For someone to live as a warrior is to look at my history and recapitulate it. Take all my energy out of my history before I die. And since I don't know when I'm going to die, might be a good idea to start yesterday. So, these two things came up today. Another thing came up this week, a teaching story, a story in spirit. In my work in the clinic, it's not really work. I just kind of hang around with people and we talk about stuff and explore moving energy and letting go of history and staying out of the future. We explore suffering at the physical, emotional, and mental level. And so, I'll make it quick. I'm getting the time signal. I hurry up. So a young man came to see me in the office and he's having trouble in school, high school. He's 16. And we're talking and he said he's really angry and he's full of hate. I said, whoa, that's pretty strong, hate. He said, yeah. He said, I hate a lot of people. I really hate Nazis. Said, okay. He said, I read about them all the time. It's okay. He said, I'm filled with hate. I said, tell me how that feels in the body. So we talked about that. Tell me about your emotions, and we talked about that. Tell me about your thoughts, and we talked about that. The thoughts and the emotions and the feeling physically that involve with hate. The hate's a learned behavior. When children are born, they don't have that emotion. Like guilt, they don't have that when they're born. Somebody has to teach them that crap. So we're talking about that, and we're talking about students, and he said, you know, I hate a lot of people there at school. I said, yeah? He said, yeah, tell me your thoughts. He said, well, I think about this person, I just think about everything that's wrong with them. I wish they'd just die. And he stopped, and he said, I'm talking like a Nazi. I said, yeah, you are. That person is this way, and you want to kill him. You want to eliminate him. So they're not at school and you don't react to them. And he said, I'm talking like a Nazi. He said, I have trouble making friends. I told you that. I said, I have a hint. He said, I just got it. He said, who would want to be friends with a Nazi? I think like a Nazi. I act like a Nazi. And nobody wants to be friends with me. Can you imagine how strong it is for this young man to be aware like that? And to take responsibility. And to say, this is my part. I'm looking at other people and I'm acting like what I hate. But it's okay for me to do it. That's called self-importance. To hate other people is called judgment. To feel sorry for myself because I have to live with other people like that is called self-pity. And fear is that my world will always be this way. Clinically, we call that anxiety. So what I want to share with you, this teaching story, is this young man, this young warrior, clearly has a warrior spirit. He was strong enough and responsible enough. He was aware, which was one leg of the medicine. He was responsible, which is the second leg of the medicine. Aware and responsible. He was aware that he was thinking and acting like everything he hated. And he took responsibility for it. And his reactions were physical, emotional, mental, and this was clearly part of his spiritual journey. So it was an honor to hang out with him. Somebody 16 years old. I didn't learn stuff like that till I was 35. I wasn't even interested. So he's way ahead of the curve. It's good to be with him. Seems to be happening with a lot of young people now. Many people show up in the office. So one of the things about our office is we don't advertise, we're not in the phone book, and so it works out that whoever shows up, Spirit sent. Right? which is kind of a fun way to work. So for those of you that are interested, we're going to do an Inipi, a sweat lodge, on November 20th. We have a permanent lodge between Kerrville and Fredericksburg. If you might be interested in something like that, there's information on the webpage where you can contact me with data on the webpage. We're going to do a stalking gathering on the 7th, 8th, and 9th of November in Kerrville. Stalking is what we were just talking about with the young man. He was stalking his self-indulgences. He was stalking himself. Years ago, stalking was a highly honorable term. Someone that lived as a warrior, that wished to fly like the eagle, would stalk himself. What do I react to? What do I judge? What do I say Spirit made a mistake? That's stalking. So now stalking has a lot of negative connotations. Some people call it tracking now, and tracking is not the same as stalking. If I stalk a buffalo, I stalk it because I want his energy. I stalk where I judge because I want to take back the energy I waste judging. I recapitulate. So it appears I'm out of time. Thank you for the help. Thank you all for letting me do this today. It's always good to be here. This was Sister's favorite place to visit when she would come live with me part of the year. She really liked to come here and hang out with you all. So this talk honors her. Grateful to be able to do it. Her 3 directives to me were to share the medicine, help the people, and stay on the clock. So, thank you all.